All right, let's just get this over with. I mean, the lack of discipline, the team just looks so unprepared, man. Like all the phases, like the game started out so great too, and then it just went straight down. Fletcher Cox got hurt, and then suddenly everybody sucked. Offense, defense, special teams just all sucked. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm really not. I don't feel like it's necessary to stream for 2 hours plus, or to talk and ramble for God knows how long. I'll do that on my podcast, and I'll link it in the description, because I'll feel better doing it then. But because this is who they are. This is the team that they are. And before I go any further, I just want to say I can't really put any of this on Jalen Hurts. The interception was bad, but he had no other option outside of running and getting smacked in the face, which is what he's been doing all day. Like, straight up, this offensive line all of a sudden was just like, we're going to give you all the false starts in the world. We're going to hold on every big run play. We're going to let Gregory and Aldon Smith and all these guys just get right up in your face immediately. I mean, the only saving grace of this game to me, like if we had to talk about moral victories, right? Deshaun Jackson's 81-yarder was just, that was so good. Okay, like I know that we lost the game, we're eliminated, oh blah blah blah, whatever. 81-yarder to Deshaun Jackson on the first drive of the second, on the first play of the second drive. That was just perfection. I loved it. Like that just filled me up. I was so happy. Of course, the happiness wore off, and I just just went back into being the crippling depressed Eagle fan. That's what I am. Recording this in the dark. that's what I'm doing. But I mean, again, just there's not much that the kid could do when you have your coaches doing nothing to help you, your players, your offensive lines forcing false starts left and right. Your coach abandons the run. Your defense on the other side has this guy named Michael Jaquette who just doesn't know how to cover without forcing penalties or getting burnt or slipping and sliding like he's on the ice rink in Philly. Like, I don't know. Darius Slay, props to him for trying his ass off, I guess. He had the interception. Props to that's about it. I mean, I have nothing else good to say, And next week, the funny thing too, that next week we have to play Washington. Basically, it's up to us. Do we want Washington to make the playoffs, or do we want Dallas? And not only that, but the Giants. The Giants, they can easily knock off the Cowboys, and if we beat Washington, they're gonna make the playoffs. So, literally, the division crown is still in our hands right now. It's just we're not taking it. We can hand it to whichever divisional rival we want to hand it to. Whether it's Washington, who right now without Alex Smith has looked like a shell of themselves over the last month. Dallas, who has been probably the best out of the four divisional rivals, playing really good defense, much better defense than recent, the past 2 months. And the Giants, who are just like Washington, a shell of themselves, who have not been playing the same ever since Daniel Jones got hurt. So, who do we want to give it to? Who do we want to give it to here? Will the Giants step up and make it happen, or are we just going to give it to Dallas, or are we just going to let Washington whoop our ass and just let it be over and done with? Because I don't really give a shit at this point. All I know is that we're going to have a top 5 pick. I don't like thinking about the draft right now during the season, but it's like, what else can I look at? I mean, this team needs a cleansing, like top to bottom, from the staff, coaching, personnel, everywhere. It needs to it just needs to happen, okay? I'm not going to sit back and say Carson Wentz wasn't a problem. He was a problem. I'm not going to say that Jalen Hurts was a savior. Clearly he wasn't. He was just the only other option we could go to. Played pretty well given the circumstance, given the team he's on. I couldn't have asked for anything better. Of course, he could have won the goddamn game, but he's just one person, as is Carson Wentz. But Carson Wentz was on another level the way he was playing this year against teams that were worse than Dallas. He played worse than Dallas when they were playing 10 times as worse. He was playing worse against teams like the 49ers. That, yes, we beat them, but then there's other teams out there like the Bengals. If we had beaten the Bengals, we wouldn't be in this situation to begin with, win or loss. I mean, it's just, come on. And it's a team sport, so all around the team was just not good enough. We get it, but and coaching has a lot to do with it too. And then that's where I'll end it off. This team needs to do a lot with its coaches. They need an offensive coordinator. They need a new defensive coordinator. They need potentially a new head coach. They need to let go of the general manager. They need to just rebuild this organization top to bottom. Every single level of it needs to be revamped, needs to be reevaluated, needs to be changed. And like straight up, do not expect this team to be competing for the next few years because it's got to be a rebuild. The Super Bowl took so much from us, and this is where we're at now. We've gone from that to where we are here, and it's not good. That's all I got to say.